Today I want to talk about the difference between being in a hospital as an inpatient versus being there under what they call an observation status. Because you or your family member may not know the difference. You're in the hospital, you might be getting all sorts of tests and treatment only to eventually learn that you're considered outpatients under observation status instead of being admitted as an inpatient. Now, a few questions normally pop up at this point. Number one, how do I know what my status is? And number two, why do I care? Well, how do you know? So first, let's start with that. Well, federal law, good for you to understand that federal law requires hospitals to provide you with written and verbal notification if you are being billed as an outpatient under observation status. But what we find is it might be buried under a bunch of other paperwork, and when they tell you, you're already stressed out, you're not really paying attention because you're in the hospital and you're sick, or something serious has happened, and so you're not really paying attention to the different terminologies, right? Admitted inpatient, admitted under observation sound very similar. So bottom line is always ask, get clarity as to what your status is. Why do you care? You care because if you're classified as an outpatient, you may be charged for services that Medicare normally would have paid. As an elder law attorney, the most significant of these is if you need to go to a rehab center or a skilled nursing facility after your hospitalization, we want Medicare to pay for the first 100 days. If you have been admitted for at least 3 days, Medicare will pay. If you've been in the hospital for 3 days, but you find out that you were there under observation status, or you were only admitted for a day and the prior 2 days were under observation status, Medicare won't pay because you're not going to make that, you're not going to satisfy that 3 day rule, pardon me. Why? It's complicated, but essentially Medicare, is comprised of different parts. It's Medicare Part A that covers inpatient hospital care and 100 days of post-inpatient rehab or skilled nursing facility care, whereas Medicare Part B is what pays for outpatient care. Now, there's some problems with that, as Medicare Part B may have significant co-pays that go with it. So even if you're in the hospital and if you find yourself with a significant copay, that can be a lot of money. But then after the hospitalization, Medicare Part B is not covering any of that rehab or skilled nursing facility bill ever. Observation status, again, if you're in the hospital under observation status, that is considered outpatient. That's Medicare Part B. If you've been admitted as an inpatient, that's when Medicare Part A kicks in. So if we are in the hospital and you suspect that you may have to go to a rehab facility or skilled nursing facility, and you also find out you've been held under observation status, what can you do? Well, the first thing is you want to try to take action toward the beginning of your hospitalization stay whenever possible. You want to ask the doctor to admit you or your loved one as an inpatient. You want to specifically ask for that. What you can really arm yourself with is knowing that there's what's called the 2 midnight rule. What's the 2 midnight rule? If a doctor expects you or your loved one to be in the hospital for at least 2 midnights, you should be admitted as an inpatient. So if you're there, you find out day one, you've only entered the hospital, even though you're sleeping in a bed and you're receiving all these tests, but you're there only under observation status, you can talk to the doctor and say, hey, do you expect me or my loved one to be here for the next couple of nights? Because if so, you should be admitting me or him or her, right? If that is not working, we also suggest that you speak to your primary care doctor, right? This is not necessarily the same doctor that's treating you in the hospital. Your primary care doctor, hopefully you have some kind of a relationship with, and you can get them involved and say, hey, please help advocate for us, and talk doctor to doctor sometimes has a lot more weight surrounding it, and please go talk to the hospital and question them and advocate for them to please admit me or my loved one so that we can get that Medicare Part A, especially if we suspect that, again, rehab or post-hospitalization skilled nursing facility care is going to be needed. If you want more help, there's a great tool and resource at MedicareAdvocacy.org. That organization does wonderful work. I'm going to put a link to it at the bottom of this video or in the notes of this video. But again, sometimes quacks like a duck and sounds like a duck, but it isn't a duck, right? You're in the hospital, you're getting all the tests, you're meeting with all the doctors, you're getting all these treatments, and if you assume you've been admitted because it feels like you've been admitted, but you haven't been admitted. That's why you have to empower yourself, you have to ask questions, and getting admitted as an inpatient can be a very, very important financial component to getting this stuff covered. Now, at the end of the day, if you have done the best you can, and for whatever reason you weren't able to figure out the difference between inpatient and outpatient in the hospital, and now you're in a skilled nursing facility and need that bill paid for, there is still Medicaid that will pay for that bill, sometimes even retroactively. So, and that's what we do a lot of in this office. With elder needs law, we do a lot of Medicaid planning where we help people who don't necessarily qualify for Medicaid at the moment, and we can help legally and ethically protect their assets to get them qualified for Medicaid to pay, especially for these expensive rehab or skilled nursing facility bills, because those bills can be financially devastating. I hope this video has been helpful to you. If you have any questions, please give us a call, schedule a consultation, visit elderneedslaw.com, fill out a form, and we'll reach out to you. And anywhere in the state of Florida, we're here, we're happy to help. Thank you.